Hey y'all, and welcome to Monner's Market, and welcome to the Farmhouse Halloween collaboration. I am super excited to be back. I've been gone for a couple of weeks, but today I have for you the coolest Halloween challenge, and it's the Farmhouse challenge, and everybody that knows me knows I love Farmhouse. Now, this challenge is being hosted by 4 different hosts: 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, the Crafty Cove, Mama Can Make It, the Rusted Willow, and our spotlight crafter is Dee Dee's Art Workshop. So that's enough jabbing for me. Let's get on into DIY number 1. So for DIY number 1, I have this cute little welcome to our web sign. Now, this sign, I started with just this little picture from the Dollar Tree. And there wasn't really, I thought that was going to be one solid picture and I could just paint on the back of it with the chalkboard paint, but it wasn't. So what I had to do is take some of this board and just make my own background. So I just cut it out. It's the really hard, what is it called? Dadgummit, I just went brain dead. The real thick board that you can get at Dollar Tree. Anyway, I cut it out and made my own backing. And then I took the chalkboard paint. Oh, yes, I did have to sand it down because it was a really rough cut. Took the chalkboard paint from Dollar Tree, which works like a freaking dream. I was shocked at how well this works. And then I took one of my transfers from Chalk Couture. Now, listen, I am so into this Chalk Couture now. I was just going to do a little bit of Chalk Couture, but I don't think I can do a little bit of anything, I have found. I am so madly in love with Chalk Couture. It's so easy, and it's foolproof if you don't screw up like I did on this first one. Whenever I painted that chalkboard paint on the back of that, I didn't realize that it was lifting up, and had I realized it, I could have glued it back down and not caused the mess that I'm about to make. But it was an easy fix. So I take this Welcome to Our Web and chalk it up. And if you want to know more about Chalk Couture, there's a couple of videos in my stash. And you can always message me on Instagram or Facebook. But see where I messed up right there? Look how easy it is to fix. I just took a black Sharpie and filled it in. Then I took this cute little witch's hat that you get from the Dollar Tree. I painted it white with white Waverly chalk paint, of course, because you guys know that I'm all about my Waverly chalk paints. And I gave it a good coat on the front and back because it's going to be hanging off the sign, and you will be able to see the back if you were to turn it around. So I wanted to make sure that I gave it, just a really nice finish on the front and the back. So once I got the little hat painted, then I found a few different ribbons to decorate it and pretty it up. So the first ribbon, actually all 3 of these ribbons came from the Dollar Tree. Oh, I did take what was left over on my brush and just dry brushed it around that frame, because if you know anything about Farmhouse, which I'm sure you do if you're on my channel, it has to be distressed. So I took what was left over on my paintbrush and I distressed down my frame to make this a farmhousey-ish frame. I just went brain dead again. So I clean up my little hat and try to place it, see where do I want it, how do I want it positioned. And then I take these cute little ribbons that I got from the Dollar Tree and just decorated up the little hat. Then I took the 2 little super duper skinny black and orange, and I did the little Sammy bow or finger bow. It's called a finger bow, but I learned how to do it from Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs, which is my mentor, and I just love her to death. So in honor of her, I always call this a Sammy bow, but it's just a little finger bow. And you just wrap it around your finger a few times, cut it off, and then cut you another little piece, wrap it straight around the middle, tie it in a knot, and that's literally all there is to it. It is the cutest little shabby farmhousey bow, and I put it on there, trimmed it up, gave it a little haircut, placed it on the edge of my picture, and then I took another piece of the ribbon that I put around the hat that you really can't see from this angle, and I made my string for the back. Now, what I don't show you is I did take some craft paper, the brown craft paper, and I went over the back of this frame to give it a really nice professional finished look. So that's all there was to it. This is how it turned out, and I absolutely love, love, love the way this turned out. Look how stinking cute this sign is. And again, I wish I would have seen that it was loose from the backing, and I would have, just glued it back down. But it still works out pretty good, and I like the way it turned out in the end anyway. So let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Now for DIY number 2 is this cute stinking little ghost. How adorable is he? So I found him at the Dollar Tree. This is just another one of their wood pieces that they've come out with, and I thought it was too cute. I took that same chalkboard paint that I used on the other one, painted him up, and used the same transfer. I'm just going to put a little bit of the web on there, and then once I get the web placed on there, I'm going to go wash my screen, bring it back, and add the little spider at the bottom. Now the reason, no, I guess I didn't wash my screen. I lied. But anyway, I added the little spider, and then I found these little tiles at the Dollar General. I think they were like $2. And I found the word boo, B-O-O. And I just wanted to make him like a little garland hanging across the spider webs. So I took boo, and then I took some of that black string that I used on my other one, and a few small beads. I painted some of them orange with the pumpkin Waverly chalk paint, and a couple of them white. And once I'd done that, I was ready to string it onto my string and make my little garland to go across my little ghost. So I get my little beads painted, and the colors of all 3 of these DIYs today, of course, are going to match for my little vignette, and I just think they're adorable. So the colors I used again are the black chalk paint from the Dollar Tree, the pumpkin by Waverly, and the white by Waverly. So I take this string here, string on my little beads, and then glue down the word boo right in the middle. I get that glued on. I'm trying to think of the name of the game that these tiles come from. Scrabble. Lord have mercy, Brenda. Scrabble. Little Scrabble tiles. And there were several in the pack from the Dollar General. Anyway, I took my sign, glued it down, hung it across them, and I thought that was just too daggum stinking cute. And farmhousey, because us farmhouse chicks love a little garland across our mantle, or hanging up on a picture, or anywhere we can get one. So that to me is what farmhoused this little ghost up, is that little garland. So I paint the bottom white because I didn't want to leave it the plain wood. And then I found this pack at the Dollar Tree of these little witches hats. So I took the orange one, and I didn't really care for the glitter, but it matched. And I was going in with the theme of the hat from the picture, glued that on the top, and he was done. Now tell me that that's not just the cutest stinking ghost you've seen all season. I absolutely adore it. And look at the versatility of that transfer from Chalk Couture. You can use it any color, anywhere. You could use, like, the whole thing would be pretty on a picture too. So far I've only used bits and pieces of it. Now let's get into DIY number 3. I seen this boo sign last year online several times, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And I was so upset because I wanted one so bad. This year, I have seen them in all of the stores everywhere. So I grabbed me a couple of them. And then this one here, I just go all over with that same black chalkboard paint. Now, I'm not going to be using any chalk couture on this one, but the black paint was handy, and there was no sense in going and getting the ink chalk paint by Waverly when I already had this at my fingertips. So then I just take this popsicle stick and I just make these random lines. And I honest and truly went in with no rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I wanted on the top one sort of that Beetlejuice, striped look. So I take my white Waverly chalk paint and I go in and I paint it and give it the little white stripes and give it that sort of Beetlejuice vibe. And then I got to thinking on the second one, because I still, as I'm doing this, I have no idea how I'm going to finish this off. So then I go to the next O, and I know I want to use my pumpkin in there. So I get my pumpkin Waverly chalk paint, and I go in the little triangles, not triangles, but diamond shapes that I made, and just sort of fill them in. The whole time I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I love the Mackenzie Child look. Like, that to me is so pretty. But if you look at that, when they're painting, it is like the sloppiest paint job. But it looks so cute at the same time. So I knew I wasn't real worried about my paint job. I wasn't too worried about it being perfect. So I just continued to paint. And the more I painted, the more inspiration I got. And I was like, okay, now let me take the white, fill in the bottom, which kind of gave me that Tennessee Volunteer vibe, because my husband's a Tennessee Volunteer fan. I am a Gator fan. But the white and the orange is Tennessee Volunteer colors. And I was like, yeah, baby, he's going to like that because it's going to make it look like the Volunteers. But being a Gator fan that I am, I couldn't leave it that way. So you'll see me go in and just keep adding and adding. And the whole time, like I said, I have no clue where I'm going. So I took my white chalk pen and I just decided to go around everything. Then when I seen the second Z, or the first zero, I was like, you know what, that looks cute with the white. So then I went and got a little thin brush and went in with black on the bottom, and it just continued to come together until it was all painted up. And then I took what was left on my brush with the white and I distressed it down to give it that farmhouse feel, and voila, that was it. How cute did this little boo sign turn out? I was so tickled to finally find it, and I am just thrilled with the way the little paint job turned out. Now, it's sloppy, but it's intentionally sloppy. Because like I said, if you go back and you look at the different Mackenzie Child and stuff like that, it is so not perfect. Like, I don't know how they can charge so much money and it not be perfect. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. This is the final reveal on what I have. I'm going to hush for a minute, let you look at it, and then I'm going to pick back up in just a few minutes. So thank you again, ladies, for putting together this Farmhouse Halloween decor challenge, and thank you for letting me be a part of it. Make sure you go down to the playlist below and watch what everybody else has made for you today. Leave me a comment and I'll be sure to comment you back. Have a good day. Bye now.